So once it's set back around the roller, then obviously the hair is set, and that's just done by cooling it. So you put the heat on, the heat will break down your bonds, and then as it's cooling, it will then fix your bonds, and that's just on your temporary bonds. But it has to be really, really hot. It's the same as when you're straightening your hair. The straighteners do have to be really hot to break down any of your bonds. So what I've done now is I've just started moving on to the smaller rollers now. So I've got all my top area, which is going to have to give it the fullness and to give it lift as opposed to curl. And then I'm going to use blue ones just all the way through there, and then we're going to drop down into smaller ones. With the sides, I'm actually going to just take these back, leaving the fringe. So we're just going to take these few sections back. And making sure you try and get the ends all the way in. Heated rollers are fantastic to use if you're doing your wedding hair or any sort of put-ups, and you know, and they are great on your longer hair to create a really good instant curl. Okay, so what we're going to do is carry on, but we're just going to use a different type of clip, really. Which a lot of these types of pins are used with setting with heated rollers. They're really easy to use. They're just shaped like this, really, and they're all colour coordinated as well. So obviously blue roller and a blue pin, dead easy, and then you literally just pin it in like that. So what I've got left now is quite a lot of the length, and here I'm actually going to drop down to smaller rollers, so the look that we can achieve is softer through the top and a lot curlier through the bottom. With slightly smaller rollers, we do need to take your sections that bit smaller. Taking it all the way, minding it nice and neat. Pin, which is the white one, just pop that through. And when you are curling hair, the bottom always does tend to drop quite quickly, so this will just ideal to keep it up that bit more. It will obviously shrink up, but if you just sort of tell your client that you know, by the time that they obviously, if they're, you know, if they're going out or a wedding, it would have dropped slightly. I'm coming right to the very bottom of the length now, so I'm just going to drop down to an even smaller roller. Again, this will just help to keep the curl in a bit better. There's actually all different techniques of setting you can use with heated rollers. This way, the brick wind, your directional wind, your more sort of fancy winds. You know, you're not just limited to this one section of winding. Final pin. Going to check to make sure these bits are fine to leave out any sort of wispy bit, because that's going to make it blend in more. And I'm going to leave the fringe, and then what I'm just going to do is just put a light spray over it, just to make sure we give it some extra hold. And then we just leave that to cool down. They usually take 15 minutes to really cool down, and you really need to make sure they are really, really cool. Once the rollers have cooled, what we're going to do now is take them out. We're going to start working from the bottom and upwards so we don't get any tangles. We need to take them out quite gently. So starting with the first one, all we're going to do is slip out the nip, roll it out really quite gently. And then what we're going to do is just spray, just to give it that extra hold. I'm just going to do that all the way through. Taking out your roller, rolling it. And you see the nice the curls that we have achieved, which is what I really wanted to, the effect I wanted to achieve today. Rolling it out gently. Okay, so we've now taken out all of the rollers. Okay, so what we've achieved really is a lot of root lift with your nice curls through the bottom. What we're going to do is we're just going to dress it out now. All I'm going to use is literally my fingers. I'm going to use just some Shine Definition Wax. Okay. I'm just going to rub that all the way through my hands, mainly on my fingertips, and we're literally just going to take it through. So that's the sort of look I want. I want to keep it nice and casual. So really getting all the way through with your hands. And don't be scared to really try and pull it through. If it's set really well, the curls will not disappear. And then so I'm just scrunching my hands through, and that's giving it loads of nice shine and loads of nice curl. You know, never ever be afraid to play around with the hair. That's what I find a lot of with the students, is that you can be quite, you know, afraid of products and messing around with the hair. That's what it's all about. It is all about your finished look and really just getting in there and being in control of the hair. There we are. And I'm just going to use some hairspray. Lift it up, spray it, let it drop. Okay, so really it's just the final finishing touches. So if you wanted any more sort of volume through it, you would just be able to back comb through your roots, but we were saying we want this quite natural looking really. Yeah, that's just about right. So what I've done is just slightly placed part of it behind the ears, just to give it a bit more of a different look. And then we're just leaving that down nice and curly, nice and natural, like that. Yeah. Okay. And then through the back, you can see it's all just a really nice loose curl. So you've made the main part of the curls are obviously through the ends, and then you've got a nice root lift all the way through.